today's class? All right. So did you have any difficulty in the previous topic that we had discussed?
No, ma'am.
All right. So we were doing excretion in humans, right? What is the last thing that you've written?
Excretory system of human being consists of
All right.
daily.
Okay. So we were talking about the excretory system in humans. Now remember, when we talk about excretion, the word excretion goes for urine formation. Okay. And the excretory system of human being, it has a pair of kidneys, a pair of ureters arising from each of the kidneys, a urinary bladder, and one urethra. Now, these are the structures that are found, and these are the structures with the help of which we are going to study the whole entire process. Now, the first thing that we must know is where the kidney is located. Now, see, kidneys, they are of prime importance if we talk about the formation of urine, or you can say the filtration of blood. So now the location of kidney, they are located in the abdomen area. Now, where? So either side of the back. Now, we see that the urine is produced in the kidneys, and what happens is that when the blood passes through the kidneys, right, it goes through the blood vessels, it passes into the kidneys. So while it does, now imagine, like, have you ever made that filter coffee at home? Like, the kettle is there, it has a strainer in between and everything.
Yes.
Hmm. So what happens? It catches the coffee, but it, like, you can say, infuses with the water, right? So imagine, like, whenever blood passes through the kidneys, all of the nitrogenous waste. Do you remember? I told you about the nitrogenous waste, the
Yes.
ammonia, the urea, and uric acid, isn't it? So now we are ureotelic. Why? Because urea is the this thing in our body, the nitrogenous waste. So what happens is that the kidneys, what they do is they start the filtration of the blood. They do the process of filtration of blood. Then from the kidneys, the urine is passed, like after the blood has been filtered, the waste that is there, that goes on to the ureters, which arises from the kidney. Now, these ureters from the either side, what they do is that they do the process of transportation of urine, right? Because the urine, once it has been formed inside the kidneys, it has to be transported out. So these ureters, they do the process of transportation of urine. Now, at the end, after the urine gets transported out of the kidneys, it goes to the urinary bladder for storage purpose, right? And once it gets to the urinary bladder, it gets stored there. Now, until when? See, urinary bladder is just like, you can imagine it like a bag. Okay, so the urine keeps on getting stored in it until the urinary bladder gets full. And then when the urinary bladder gets full, or you can say filled up with the urine, then we have the urge to pass up the urine. So the urinary bladder, what does it do? It stores the urine until it is released through the urethra. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay, moving forward. Now, when we talk about how is urine produced, so we have to see a, like, look into the depths of it as to how it is produced. So whenever the blood is filtered by the kidneys, and what is the main reason that the urine is being formed in our body? The main and the most absolutely important reason is that we have to get rid of the toxins that are present in our body, right? So urine formation and the passing out of urine is one such way of removing the toxins from our body. So whenever the blood is filtered by the kidneys, why is it filtered? To remove the nitrogenous wastes such as the urea and some amounts of uric acid. Then the urine is produced. Now, remember, do you, like, we know that the Cell is the basic unit of life, right? It is the basic or the most fundamental unit.
Ma'am,
Yes, am I audible?
yes,
Yeah. So as I was saying that, so the just like how we have the cell, which is the basic or the most fundamental unit of life, right? Same way when we talk about neurons, so it is the basic unit of our nervous system. So just like that, our excretory system also has a unit, and that unit or the functional unit of our excretory system is the nephron. Okay, now each of the kidney, both the kidneys, they have millions of nephrons present in them, and these nephrons are the reason because of which the blood gets filtered. These are the filters. Now, what happens? This is a structure of a nephron. This is how the nephron looks like. Okay. So there is this part which is known as the glomerulus, which is sort of like a tuft of capillaries. Okay. Capillaries, you understand what capillaries are? Tell me, what are capillaries?
um,
Hmm. Hey, you know it, right? I know that you know it. Try to put it into words. Veins, arteries, capillaries. So, what
ma'am,
are capillaries? Yes? Your screen is stuck. Are you having internet issues? Yes, Shazil, are you having internet issues? Hello?
ma'am.
Yes? Are you having internet issues?
No, ma'am, you're having internet issues, right?
No, I am not having. I am not having any internet. I can see you fine. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can't see your screen.
You can't see the screen?
No, ma'am.
Wait, let me reshare it. Can you see it now?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. Yeah, so I was talking to you about capillaries. Tell me, what are capillaries?
I don't remember.
See, you remember arteries, what do they carry?
Oxygenated blood,
Very good. The veins
deoxygenated blood.
and or arteries and veins, both of them are blood vessels.
Yes,
Hmm. Now, see, the point of contact in between the arteries and the veins. If this comes, this is the artery, and this is the vein. Okay.
yes,
So, see, for example, arteries are coming from this side, veins are coming from this side. The point of contact, sort of like a network in between them. That is what the capillaries are. Okay. And do you understand the meaning of tuft? T
meaning of?
R tuft.
No, ma'am.
Tuft means a bundle. You understand Urdu?
Yes, ma'am.
Guच्छा. Guच्छा जानते हो? Guच्छा,
Yes,
right? Bundle, a bunch. So tuft is that. So a bundle, or you can say a bunch, and a lot of capillaries are present in this particular nephron part, that is known as the Bowman's capsule. It is a cup-shaped structure. This yellow part that you're seeing, this one, this is a cup-shaped structure which we call as the Bowman's capsule. And inside the Bowman's capsule, there is the presence of glomerulus, which is like a bundle or a bunch of capillaries. Okay. Now, just give me 1 second. Till then, you note down.
ممكن اسكت.
Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am. ممكن اسكت. I'm gonna scroll.
Yes, done till here?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Okay, see. So, yeah, as I was telling you, the structure of the nephron, right? So, the nephron, it has a cup-shaped structure, which is known as the Bowman's capsule. Now, inside of that, there is the presence of glomerulus, which is a cuff of capillaries. Now, when you see from here, do you see that it is turning into a loop and moving downside? Wait, let me
Yes, ma'am.
change the color of the ink so that you'll see it better. Okay. Hmm. So this part that you see here, that is the Bowman's capsule. Now it starts from here, and now the ducts which are present in the this one second. Yes. So as I was saying that from the Bowman's capsule, it like the PCT. Now, whatever is the structure that is present after the presence of Bowman's capsule, that is what we call as the ducts of the nephron that are found there. So in that we have the proximal convoluted tubule, that is PCT. So the initial part that you see, this convolution right here, it is the proximal convoluted tubule. Then from this PCT, it starts and moves into the loop of Henle. Now, this can you see a U-shaped structure, the yellow U,
Yes.
right? So that is a loop. It is known as a loop of Henle. It is like a hairpin. Have you seen that black colored hairpin? Maybe if you have any
Mm.
sister or mother, your mother wears it, the U-shaped pin, right? So that is what the loop of Henle sort of resembles. Now, the part which you can say continues from the PCT, that is the proximal convoluted tubule, the part that continues from there, that is the descending limb of loop of Henle, the descending part. Okay, it is going down. And then when it goes upside, right, that is what we know as the ascending limb of loop of Henle. Okay, so it goes up. And now when the ascending limb gets completed, now this coil structure is known as the distal convoluted tubule. Okay. And then
Yes.
at the end, all of it, like, see, this part is one neuron, sorry, one nephron. Okay, one of it. Do you see these branches like structure?
Yes, ma'am.
So just like how this particular nephron is connected to one, meaning here, same way, multiple nephrons, like one nephron will be connected from here, one will be connecting from here. And this large, or you can say the long straight part is known as the collecting duct. Now this collecting duct, it receives the secretions from all the other nephrons, the ones, because you see that it is the one common area through which all of the secretions they go through. So PCT, descending limb of Henle, ascending limb of Henle, then the DCT, and finally it opens into the collecting duct. Clear?
Yes,
Any
ma'am.
doubts?
No, ma'am.
Yes. So now do you see this red structure which is sort of forming a network like thing which is present like all around wrap on the descending and ascending limb? Now that is what vasa recta is. It is again blood capillaries, and they have a different mechanism, and they are extremely important for the waste to become, like you can say, out of the blood. Okay, so this is the basic structure of a new. Yes, I'm constantly saying neuron. This is a representation of a nephron, how the nephron looks like. Now, just like this is one nephron, same way, millions of nephrons are present in each of the kidneys. Clear?
Yes.
Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now we'll talk about what are the processes that are there in the case of urine formation. So the first process is filtration. The other name for filtration is glomerular filtration. Okay, you can say filtration or you can say glomerular filtration. Now, can you tell me why glomerular filtration? Hmm?
No,
Glomerular
no.
filtration. Like what? Like try to imagine. You don't have to be right. Of course, you don't know it. I'm teaching you, but try to imagine. What will it mean? See, you saw that we have glomerulus in the nephron,
Yes.
right? So the blood actually goes through the glomerulus region, and this is the part where filtration happens. The active, proper filtration takes place in the glomerulus area. So the glomerular filtration means filtration through the glomerulus. Okay. Now, okay. Now after that, the second step of urine formation is reabsorption. Now, once the blood has been filtered properly, and it gets filtered so finely that even tiny particles get collected. It is a very fine process of filtration. Now, during the process, like after the process of filtration has been completed, then reabsorption takes place. Now, what happens during reabsorption? See, the substances that are there in the filtrate. See, filtrate. For example, again, I'll take the coffee or a tea reference. So when you're straining the coffee or a tea through a strainer, the part that is left in the strainer, that is known as the filtrate, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now, what happens is that the filtrate, it has certain substances which are very important, such as glucose, amino acid, different kinds of salts. All of these things are there, and again a major amount of water. Okay, meaning, see, the urine that is finally getting collected after the filtration has been done, right? What we do, we throw the left part of the tea or the coffee away, and the filtered part is used. Now, this is actually, it's not the part that got collected, it is actually the part that is filtered, the liquid part. Okay, so that is the filtrate, not that. Okay, and what does it do? It has substances such as very important substances such as glucose. Our body requires glucose in a really huge amount. Then there is amino acids. You know that different kinds of amino acids, they are present, and then they come together to make proteins. Again, proteins are very important in our body, so that is why amino acids are important. And then the salts. So all of these things, they get reabsorbed in the second process or in the second step of urine formation. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. Now, the amount of water that is reabsorbed depends on how much dissolved waste is present. That depends from, like, if a lot of uric acid is present or a little amount is present. So the amount of water that will be reabsorbed by the body, that is, like, it varies. Now, talking about the third step, that is secretion. You can also call it selective secretion. So here, what happens is that some harmful substances, they are secreted from tubules of nephrons to the formed urine. Most toxic waste, such as ammonia, it would require more water, and less, or the least toxic waste, it would require less water for excretion. So after all of these three steps are done, then the urine has been formed. Now this urine, it is stored in the urinary bladder until it becomes full. And as soon, and now see, what happens is that the urinary bladder, on the inside of it, it is, you can say, provided with stretch receptors. Meaning, as soon as it will expand, immediately the information will be sent to the brain. Why? Because it will tell, okay, now the urinary bladder has been full and the urine has to be passed out of the body. So when the urinary bladder expands, it leads to the urge to pass out the urine through the urethra. And this information that the urinary bladder is expanding, it goes to the brain. So we'll write one more line that urinary bladder has stretch receptors. It has stretch receptors. That is the reason why the information gets sent to the brain. Now, the urinary bladder is under the neural control as the bladder is muscular and it is involuntary. So, up till a certain point, controlling the urge to pass out urine is done. But once the urinary bladder gets completely full, no one can control the urination, the urge to urinate. So, the urinary bladder is under the control of our brain. So, it is under the neural control. Okay. And we can usually control the urge to urinate because up till, like, we can control it up till the urinary bladder has not been filled up completely. But as soon as it gets filled up, then the brain sends the signal to pass it out. Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So now you can note it down. What is the last line that you've written?
The filtration units of kidney is called nephron.
You can switch off your video for like the time you're writing. You can like write down comfortably.
Ma'am, can you scroll? I'm gonna scroll. Done, ma'am.
Okay, any doubts?
No, ma'am.
All right. Now, see, for human beings, what happens is that the kidneys, they are of prime importance as far as the formation of urine is concerned. Now, for all those people that have a kidney failure, so how will they form the urine? They won't be able to. Now, apart from they won't be able to form the urine, apart from that, their body will not be able to get rid of the nitrogenous waste that are there. And it is very harmful, right? Keeping the waste inside the body. So for
Yes.
those people that have undergone kidney failure, like both of their kidneys are failed. So in that case, a situation is there, or you can say a treatment, which is like you can say temporary treatment. It is known as hemodialysis. That is artificial kidney. Now here, let us read. Now I have added this picture from your the book only. Now let us see what it says. Kidneys are vital organs for survival. Several factors such as infections, injury, or restricted blood flow to the kidneys, meaning either in case of any infectious disease, or maybe the person got badly injured, or if the heart is not pumping out enough blood to the kidneys. So, in that case, the activity of the kidneys get reduced. Because of which, now, if the activity of the kidney is getting reduced, it means that the kidney is not functioning properly. Apart from that, kidney failure can also happen. So, in all of these cases, what happens is that the waste, the poisonous waste, that is the nitrogenous waste, the urea and all, they start getting accumulated in the body, and again, which can lead to death. So, in all of those cases wherein the person has suffered kidney failure, so artificial kidney can be used. You can switch on your video now. Artificial kidney can be used. Now, this artificial kidney, this is a device to remove the nitrogenous waste products from the blood through the process known as dialysis. Now, see, this is the apparatus. This is the apparatus which is called the artificial kidney. Now, in this case, what happens? It contains a number of tubes with a semi permeable lining. And these tubes, this is what they're talking about, these tubes. Okay. So, they contain this whole apparatus, it contains a number of tubes that are present, and they are surrounded by dialyzing fluid. Now, what they have done, this technique is so unique. If you'll see that, you'll be amazed. What happens in this particular dialyzing unit? The dialyzing fluid is present. Now, this dialyzing fluid has been made in such a way that it has the same components just like the blood. Ditto. Every single thing is same like the blood. The osmotic pressure is also same as the blood. But the only thing is that this dialyzing fluid does not contain nitrogenous waste. But our blood does. You remember osmosis?
Yes, ma'am.
Or you remember any kind of, you can say, transportation that involves concentration gradient?
Diffusion.
Diffusion and osmosis are there. So if I say that anything revolves around concentration gradient, it means that a particular matter will move from a region of higher concentration to lower concentration, right? Hmm. So same thing happens here. The dialyzing fluid does not have the nitrogenous waste, but the human's blood has. So now what happens is that this dialyzing unit is connected to the patient, and what happens that whenever the blood passes through the dialyzing unit, so the nitrogenous waste from the blood gets transferred into dialyzing fluid, because dialyzing fluid does not have the nitrogenous waste, human blood does. So the particle moves from a region of higher concentration to region of lower concentration. So it moves out of the blood into the dialyzing fluid. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Now the patient's blood is passed through these tubes. During this passage, the waste products from the blood pass into the dialyzing fluid by diffusion. We know that, right? Now, the purified, now after the waste product goes into the dialyzing fluid, then the blood is now pure, isn't it? So then what will happen? Now this purified blood, it is pumped back into the patient. This is similar to the function of kidney, but it is different in one way. But if you look at this dialyzing unit and everything, do you think that it is very similar to the functioning of kidney?
Yes.
But where do you think the difference arises? Is it different in any way, or is it like it is doing everything that the kidney is supposed to do? Try to think
The
and answer.
that solution doesn't have the nitrogenous waste.
That's true. No, I'm asking not about the fluid. I'm asking about the whole entire unit. Like this is known as artificial kidney, right? And artificial
Yes.
kidney is doing the process of cleaning the blood, right? Filtration of blood. And it is doing that. Now the nitrogenous waste from the human's blood, it went into the dialyzing fluid, right? So we are saying that this dialyzing unit is very similar working to human kidneys.
Yes.
But where do you think it is different, or what is that one thing that this dialyzing unit cannot do? Think and answer. Try to recall the steps of urine formation and then answer. Tell me. You can say whatever that comes to your mind. It doesn't have to be a right answer.
It cannot reabsorb.
Yes, very good. It will filter the blood, but it will not reabsorb. Very good. Exactly. Did you think or did you look?
I think.
Okay, very good. You're right. You're absolutely right. So, this whole entire unit, yes, it can 100% function like the kidney, but it is different. Why? Because no reabsorption can happen. There is no process of reabsorption. So, a person cannot have the essential nutrients that the person requires. But at that time, people don't think that. Why? Because at that time, nutrients are not important. Saving the person's life is important, right? Now,
Yes.
normally, in a healthy adult, the initial filter rate in the kidney is about 180 liters daily, meaning every day 180 liters of blood gets, you can say, filtered, and 180 liter is the formation of the filtrate. However, how much, like, do we excrete out 180 liters in the whole day? Imagine, we'll be like stuck to the washroom, never coming out of there. So, of course not. So, why? We go once or twice, right? And it depends on the water intake. Why? Because out of, you can say, 99% of it is reabsorbed. That is why we only excrete out either a liter or 2 liters per day. It's not 180 liters a day because the remaining filtrate is reabsorbed in the kidney tubules. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. Now, see, the blood gets rid of the nitrogenous waste by hemodialysis, but there is no reabsorption taking place. So, that is the reason why this hemodialysis technique, it is actually a temporary solution. Okay, that any person has undergone kidney failure, so that person will use this dialyzing unit or hemodialysis. But the permanent solution of kidney failure is ultimately organ transplant. Surgery is required, and this organ transplant, it happens from a donor, which is like closely related to the patient. But that is a permanent solution, then only a person can survive, because how long will a person be attached to a machine, right? And
Yes.
that is why the hemodialysis, it is a good solution to the problem of kidney failure, but it is a temporary solution. So to combat that, the only way to come out of it is organ transplant. Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now you should know what this whole thing is about. Okay. And many a times this is asked in the exams. Okay. So you should know how to make it in your own words. If you can write it in your own words also. And if you are not able to, then you can ask me, I'll tell you. How do you want to go about it?
Ma'am, I'll
Should I
write
give
my own words.
you write on your own? Okay. So you first write about hemodialysis on your own, and then you continue with this part which is there. Okay.
Yes. Ma'am, first I'll write about the artificial kidney.
Yes. First, give it a little bit of introduction, and then you can write about the things that I've written.
Yes.
Oh, wait, do one thing. I'm reciting. Okay. You take down that. Okay. So when you write hemodialysis or you write dialysis, then you write down it is the process of removal of it is the process of removal of excess waste material from blood. It is the process of removal of excess waste material from blood. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. Then you write down that it is done when it is done in the case of it is done in the case of kidney failure. It is done in the case of kidney failure. Then,
Yes, ma'am.
then you write down. It is the artificial process. It is the artificial process of filtering blood. It is the artificial process of filtering blood, comma, which is done to remove, which is done to remove the nitrogenous waste products, which is done to remove the nitrogenous waste product that can result in toxicity inside the system or inside the body.
TOXICSTY, right?
Toxicity
Result in toxicity.
inside the body. Then
Yes.
you write down the blood of the patient. The blood of the patient is taken from the artery. The blood of the patient is taken from the artery, comma. It moves through the dialysis machine. It moves through the dialysis machine and removes and removes the excess salts, the excess salts along with urea, comma, uric acid and creatinine. Creatinine. Creatinine.
Uric acid and
Uric acid and creatinine, this one. Creatinine. Creatinine.
yes.
Then
Yes, ma'am.
you write down the dialysis process. The dialysis process acts like an artificial kidney. The dialysis process acts like an artificial kidney. Done.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, if you write dialysis process or if you write dialyzing unit, same thing. Okay. I
Yes.
mean, both of them act like the artificial kidney. Now you continue with the blood gets rid from here. Okay.
Yes.
This you can see, right? It's visible
Yes, ma'am.
because I think I don't know why my ink is like working really low. Like, can you see all of the alphabets and the whole entire
Yes,
sentence?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Done.
All right. Any doubts up until now?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So we'll keep it till here only for today's class. And in the next class, I think we'll be almost near to